Hello everyone, thank you once again for joining me on this episode. And straight to the point, I want to discuss another AWS security service called AWS CloudHSM. That is hardware security module. Its tagline as a dedicated single tenant hardware for cryptography operations. So before now, I just explained on another episode, I just explained another AWS security service that is called KMS. And when I was explaining KMS, one of the things I explained is around the storage system within public key infrastructure. So obviously that storage I was talking about is Cloud HSM. Now, but there are nuances to this. Now, in this episode, I want us to look at the Cloud HSM as a dedicated single tenant hardware for your cryptographic operation. How so? When you are dealing with public infrastructure, management ecosystem, maybe KMS, key management system, you're talking about certificate authority or certificate lifecycle management system, you are talking about secret lifecycle management system, all these fall under what I call public key infrastructure. Now, when you are managing all these things, there is a particular storage infrastructure that should keep all these very important toolings, or let me say, solutions. Now, in AWS environment, its cloud is a hardware security module that is being used. But the nuance is this: when AWS manage your environment for you, when you are using maybe a customer manager, key, or AWS managed key, what you are in terms of storage, what you are dealing with is AWS having a dedicated hardware within their environment to keep those keys, those certificates, those secrets, but you are sharing those dedicated hardware with other AWS customers. So physically, you are sharing the same hardware, but logically, when it comes from software perspective, you are logically like isolated, but you are sharing the hardware, the underlying hardware, which is the guy under the hood. You are sharing with other AWS users. Now, when it now comes to dedicated single tenant hardware for cryptography, you are still using the same hardware security module, a military grade hardware, but in this manner now, in this case, this is dedicated to you. You don't share the hardware with another AWS user. So now there are reasons why customers do opt for this, maybe as a result of a regulatory purpose. Maybe there's a regulatory requirement that says you must not share it, or there should be some dedicated and stuff like that. There are reasons. It's more expensive, and you have to take over the management. Like immediately it's provisioned, you create your cluster, and it's chosen to be a dedicated HSM. Then you are responsible for the master key, for the availability, for the configuration. Just make sure there is no backdoor. So everything relies on you for the adequate management of this hardware. So that is what I want to say. So the point I'm trying to make is to let you know that either way, the underlying hardware infrastructure for most of these, or for AWS a public infrastructure ecosystem, is is hardware security module, a military grade one. But it depends now. The nuance comes in a place whereby if you are using a dedicated tenancy, or you are using a managed, or maybe something, or let me say shared managed environment. So that is just I just want to clear before we move forward on this. So moving forward now, what are the capabilities? So what are the capabilities here? The capability is that you have a single tenant hardware for yourself. So the benefit is that it draws proprietary cloud protocols and communicate via standard industry recognized cryptography APIs like PK, CS, H11, JCE, and OpenSSS. So this is one of the capabilities you can get. The other one is what is called zero escrow model. That shows that absolute cryptographic sovereignty. AWS can never be forced to hand over your unencrypted keys because they literally do not possess them. So this is another capability you get when you buy into this model. That shows that AWS, like I said, they don't have access, they don't have your keys, so it's all yours. So, but there is a risk if your designated security officer loses your credentials or cryptographic master tokens, the keys and all the data encrypted by them are permanently gone. So that is that. Then there's another one called M of N quorum authentication. So to prevent a single rogue employee or compromised administrator from destroying your enterprise security, Cloud HSM uses split key or multi-signature gatekeeping. What this means is that no single person, can maybe have access, have access to that Cloud HSM, because if a singular person can do maybe do administrative work on it. That shows that somebody can decide, maybe when he went rogue, to delete or, make and do some other malicious, operations with it. So that's what we call split key or multi-signature gatekeeping. That is M of N quorum. It means that we have 3 people that have access to this. We set up 3 people, but before any of these operations can be, executed, then we must have 2 of these 3 people to authenticate or validate before that can happen. So now I have, so that is how CloudHSM works. And one of the major things I want us to take away from this is the relationship of these, the nuance. Let me say first, the nuance around this particular tooling, this particular service. The fact that it could be a dedicated hardware for you, and it could be shared by other customers. It could be managed by AWS. It could be managed by you. But overall, is that public infrastructures like KMS, like a certificate authority or certificate management and secret can be stored. Can use this particular service as their storage under the hood. So with that is what I would say that. So when you can compare it to KMS, you can compare KMS with CloudHSM. I think my explanation have taken for that. Control plane. So in KMS, manage entirely via standard AWS IAM and key policies. But when it comes to HSM, manage via direct cryptographic command line tools outside IAM. So recovery, you can recover your keys accidental, in a KMS, but in the case of a HSM, it cannot. And when it comes to cost, it's more expensive. I think it's 1,200 per month in a cloud HSM, while in the case of KMS, it's like $1 per key per month. So these are the things I want us to understand. Business problem that is solved. I've said that when you have a hard regulatory compliant like a PCI DSS or some HIPAA regulatory requirement, that is where cloud HSM comes very handy. Then the other thing is if you are looking for speed, high speed of SSL and TLS offloading, because if you are, like I said, public key infrastructure, especially when it comes to encryption, it deals with a lot of the speed of encrypted data is low compared to unencrypted one. So if you want more speed, that shows that buying into a dedicated tenancy, in terms of this hardware, we give you the opportunity to not to share bandwidth with other customers, and that will bring you the speed you want. Then acting as a corporate root certificate authority, if your enterprise needs to issue its own internal identity certificate to secure thousands of corporate laptops, that is a very good options. For instance, sometimes I work in an environment whereby we have an internal certificate authority server that we use to take care of most of our servers internally and some of our endpoints. So this is a good solution for that. So with this, I've come to the end of what is called a cloud HSM in AWS security solutions or services environment. Thank you.